Hi everybody, hope all is good. Welcome to the first episode of Cryengine 5. As you probably noticed, I haven't recorded anything for a while. I was quite busy switching my profession. I decided to make my own game, and I found the doing web development for 15 years. Too boring, so it's time to do something more fun. Hopefully you'll find this episode more useful, and I've started working on it like 1 month ago, working with Cryengine, but not on this particular project, and learning. I'm not a professional whatsoever. However, you may find some useful information here, how to use Cryengine, how to develop a game. I'm going to do a series of tutorials to cover most of the crucial things. For my personal project, I got things set up already and a few concepts, but this one probably is going to be I don't know, test level maybe. So I'm using SDK, Cryengine 5. There are obviously Unreal Engine, Unity and different game engines you can use. I went for Cryengine because I found it more intuitive, and it's got lighting system built in and lots of assets to start with, so I can save some time on actually using all the assets included within the engine. Anyway, enough talking. This is the first episode. I've got the Cryengine launched, as you can see here. I've got Cryengine 5.2. I also have lots of assets downloaded from Cryengine website. The newest is Wilderness assets pack, which is truly awesome. So what you do, you just copy them, just follow documentation. If you need anything, just you can watch tutorials. There's plenty of them. However, for myself, I've been watching a couple of good channels, like in Zombie Games, like Hard Game channel. This is Russian, unfortunately, so if you understand part of Russian, then it's all good. I barely understood it, but it's very helpful. But I don't know the guy's name, but he's producing lots of useful content. So I'm going to provide links to some useful channels I'm watching. I've learned from a bunch of things. So let's start on it. Let's switch to Cryengine. Okay, so I've got the level created. You need to go to level, set up new. I'm not going to do that. And then you set new level. In order to do that, then you've got this is the standard layout. Create object. I'm not going to explain all the things. I'm just going to do stuff. So I believe this way, and you learn more. Anyway, there's lots of things covered already. Things are similar to 0.6, version, and this is just improved. Okay, you can use in this tutorial we're going to generate terrain. I'm gonna use built-in terrain generator, because I want to achieve certain layout, not very spectacular, nothing fancy, but kind of real life, which I possibly use it for the upcoming game. It's gonna take a while, I think, because more I work on it, more I realize I need to learn more and implement my ideas. So anyway, let's start on terrain building. So let's go to you need to, in order to set terrain, you need to set terrain max height, which I've set to 230, which is good enough for me, and set ocean height. I've got it defaulted to 16. It's all in meters, and then what you need to do, you go to file, generate terrain. So let's say not good. So if you go to generate terrain, you set up feature size, bumpiness, detail, passes, variation, random base, blurring. I've got it, I'm gonna leave it set to 0, cover, subscribe, base. I'm not very familiar with all of this, I was just playing around with it. And sharpness base. Okay. And then I'm going to generate terrain again from this, and this is the final result. Quite pleasing, I would say. So as you can see, let's set camera height, camera speed. Okay, if you hold shift and use in-game controls like WASD, and hold right mouse button, then you can go around. See if we set up, so this is how the terrain looks like. I'm going to change it. I wanted to have some mountains because when you do you can sculpt your terrain manually, but obviously it's gonna be more difficult, so I'm going to use this one as a base. And I'm going to use flatten tool now. For most of it, we have in brush size, we have parameters like radius. Let's set it to something useful, and inside parameters. Okay, I don't know, 32, something like that, and hardness. And if you hold control or use the picker tool, so just like that, you can select, you can click on the terrain to grab the height variable. Now, as you can see, let's decrease. I want to make part of it flat. If you hold control, then that actually doesn't work for me. And then smooth things a bit. Alright. Maybe I should use flatten tool. I'll set it to 18 maybe. I'm working on the small words. Let's go to the, where's the file, layers. Resize terrain. If you go to edit, resize terrain, you will have the dimensions of your texture dimensions, height map resolution, etc., meters per unit. So here, color multiplier, and I tend to keep this ticked on, high quality terrain texture. And now let's make it a little bit lower. Just this is, let's say we make a valley or something here. Actually, I don't need this right side part. I just wanted to have a this is not going to, I'm not really bothered with the actual borders. This is not going to be visible. Obviously I want to optimize game for performance, so less visible. Let me adjust camera speed. So this is too slow now. So the more the bigger the world seen by player, by the viewport, in the viewport is, then it has the bigger impact to the performance. So this looks pretty bad for now, but let me work on it. If you're not interested in something, if you want to see the final result, feel free to skip. Yeah, I'm going to sculpture this terrain a little bit. Just flatten it. I want some lake in there as well, just tiny lake. Alright, so let's say, okay, here maybe drop some blocks just on the side. Reduce brush size, to 8 maybe. You can leave it to 0, as you can see, like that. I'm not worrying about the terrain, really, just want to sculpt it. Okay. If you have spikes like this, just very sharp edges, they obviously not very natural, so then you can just simply smooth them out. You get the idea now. Like I said, you can use terrain generators, like some commercial ones, and I don't need it very much. I'm gonna do. I've tried them. I've tried I think World Machine. World Machine works pretty good because it allows you to build erosion and different terrain, and then you can import it here. Import height map, but you need to write it in raw file. So the little trick is, I think the World Machine produces it in R16 or something like that. You need to rename change the file extension and import it, and this should work fine. Now let's hold this is Rise tool. Okay. I'm not bothered with it. I'm not sure whether I have enough space. Here. And use flatten tool. Come on, this needs to be a little bit. Actually here. There's going to be a river here. Okay. So boulders like this. Okay, I think this is good enough. Obviously you can adjust hardness, but if you overdo it, it will look stupid, so don't overdo it. So this is the basic shape I wanted to achieve, pretty much, and then I will add some edges there, and this way we're going to go to the next level of the game. But that's going to happen later on. And here I wanted to have a little hill. Let's move this out a little bit because I don't want to Alright. Just to add a little bit of alright, this is going to be a little slope here. So this needs to be smooth out. And obviously this is small terrain, so this is going to be covered with trees. And here this area needs to be lower, so alright, just for the sake of lake. Okay. Obviously there's no totally flat terrain in real nature, so I'm not happy with the small mountains, but just let's leave it for now. Just leave it like smooth them out a little bit. That we actually will do. I've got more space. I don't want to waste too much of my map for having a mountain and you're not using it. So let's do this here. Okay, something like that will do. All right. That was coffee break. So if you're watching this, grab yourself coffee. In the meantime, stop the video if you're watching it. If you don't have Cryengine installed, go to cryengine.com and download it. It became free this year. Previously you could download the sandbox on Steam, I believe. And I was actually waiting for the 5th version. I took a look last year on it, and you know, I believe version 5 was just announced, so I wasn't sure whether actually how it's gonna work out for me. Okay, sorry about that. That's about this break. That's my daughter asking me around, asking me about a few things really. So I need to have a. All right. Yeah. So this is pretty much done. What I want for now. Let's say I'm going to take care of. Take care, or maybe this is something I wanted. This is going to be spawning point here. So this is good, and like let's move out. Why is it? All right. This is the general idea. Is I just want to achieve the real life terrain, kind of from. Okay, so this is good. Let's take a look at the terrain. Let's drop the prayer. Oh, right, that's very smart. Okay, let me switch this off because there's going to be loads of allow pop-ups. No, I don't want any pop-ups. Okay, let's drop. Come on again, I can't see. Alright, as you can see, terrain is pretty good, pretty big, pretty smooth. I want it that way, so it's fair. It's fairly good for me. Okay, like I said, there's no ideally flat terrain. So what you can do, just if you're doing enable noise, you can add some noise. Let's reduce. Can you see it? There's some. See, it's not exactly flat. Pretty flat, but not exactly flat. If there would be texture. Okay, so now, excuse me, now, once we've done this, let's save this. Now we can paint terrain. Obviously you can do the default, paint on default layer, then to create new layer, and then let's drop in some grass. So let's create new layer, and let's call it grass. Now if you go back, we know that terrain was set on at level of 16 meters. So we can grab the tool. I don't know, we don't want exactly, let's say it would be nice to have some beach here maybe, or something, sand. I'm not sure whether I'm going to leave the ocean and whether it's going to be visible. That's I haven't decided on it yet, but let's grab the terrain height. If you can you can see, oh my god, I can't speak today. You can see it here, it's 24 meters, maybe like that. $17. Well, let's grab it. Well, let's put it to 19. 23. Okay, so it's about here. So I don't want this to paint. I don't want to paint this mountain as well. So this is going to be our minimum height for our texture. And here it's 143. 25. Roughly 140. Yeah, let's set it to 143. So what we're gonna do, set minimum height, which is 18, was it? 19 maybe. Hey, 19 meters. Maximum height, which is going to be 143 meters. And minimum angle and maximum angle. Let's say maximum grass will be visible to 52 angles. So we make sure that when we paint, we don't paint on angles. We can obviously fix that later on manually. I'm going to float whole layer with grass. So now, before we hit paint, we can paint it manually. We need to set our textures and material. So if you go to open texture folder and go to terrain, I think in default there was defaults that were generic, but I think it's left over from free version. Not free version 3 of Cryengine, so I had some issues with it. So, and here I'm going to use grass DDS file, and then set material. Material, go to, again, where's terrain? Can you see terrain? Yeah, terrain here. And grass. I think this one would be good. Just let's test it. First, let's switch this off. Let's test it. It's a white thing. This is alright, I'm pretty happy with it. Then you can set shading depending on how you want the grass. Do you think it looks natural? Not really. So anyway, let's go back with it. Something like that. Make it a little warmer. I think it's right. Maybe too dark. Okay. Now right click and flood layer. As you can see, all the terrain was painted. Apart from the angles, like I said, we can fix it later. And here, even terrain angle was good enough, but it's a bit blocky, I would say. Okay, so let's go to refine terrain textures. Yes, 5, save. Now open. Never mind. Okay, maybe I should add some. Obviously I could add grass to the default layer, but I wasn't sure whether this is a actual case. Okay, we've got minimum angle, maximum angle, let's go higher. Alright. So this is the first terrain, this is how it looks. Not ideal, but good enough for a base. Obviously we're going to cover it with vegetation later on, etc. So I'm not saying I'm not the expert in resolution. I still need to learn. And this area was 52. Okay, so let's do the cliffs maybe, or maybe sand for the corners here. Alright, let's drop in actually and see how it goes, how it looks. It's fairly good. Obviously once we put vegetation there will be no huge spaces visible. Not like that. I'm not going to spend too much time on terrain here. Like I said, this is going to be used for tutorials. Unless I'm making it similar to the game, so if it works well then I'm gonna use it, otherwise not really. Okay, so now let's create another layer and texture it. Okay, and let's call this one, I don't know, sand. Switch off paint, and then select texture, terrain, sand yellow, And again we select material, and there should be sand. Something like that. Obviously sand won't be here. Maybe here, I don't know. As you can see, it's blending now. I don't want this to be tropical island, so... Okay, instead of doing this manually, you can paint it manually, paint it over manually, but it's not a good idea. And also you can cover the slopes, etc. So let's, before painting it, okay, let's set minimum height 0, maximum height that's going to be 19, minimum angle 0 to 52. Alright, or maybe we could work with the color a little bit, so it's actually better first. Okay, I'm gonna make it 20. Yeah, so it looks like dark sand now. 55. Yeah. So you can do this manually now. Or if you see, this won't go here. Because the angle is basically too high now. So it's blending fine. So there are two ways how you can do this. Select brush size to, let's say, 1000, and then just drop it like that, or maybe, I don't know, 800. Or you can flood the layer, like I did previously. Okay, excuse me. If I paint it too much, come on. Is it alright? Yeah, looks good. Looks good. So we've got our island sort of part of the map ready, and now create another layer for cliffs. Now we're going to address bigger slopes, bigger angles. Okay, so again, we don't want to, so we want minimum angle set to 55, maximum angle 90, we won't go over 90, and then let's select texture. Obviously you can use gray textures here for blending, so if you use something like, I think my gray is, where is this, textures and defaults, and you can use gray DDS. I'm gonna show you actually how it looks like with this texture. Go to terrain. We've got dirty sand, wet. We can add some wet sand when it, which is below the, and slightly above, or let's say 1 meter above the water volume, above the ocean, but that's later on. And now what are we looking for? Cliff. limestone. Okay. Cliff limestone, let's say. Oh god, now. Okay, let's test it out. Decrease brush size. Still too big. 3. Looks good. $56. Oh no, 54. There's no minimum height here. No, 52 we said, I think. Now it's... I prefer to do this manually here, so I can see what I'm doing. I'm not sure whether on this limestone cliff next to the ocean, maybe. This one actually looks better. It's pretty dark. Okay, let's set it to, I don't know, let's check our height. 46 here. It's gonna be 65. Let's set it to 65 and then let's float the layer. So minimum height, maximum height is gonna be 65, 0, okay, float the layer. It's a little bit as you can see, this cliff is this texture is a bit visible, but at least it's been done. Here the terrain is just too boring, so we can change it over at some more interesting shapes later on, but I think it's good enough for now. We can fix it later. As you can see, the cliffs are added here as well. Nice. Come on. Let's go. Actually, I could drop in some entity here. Entity vehicles. Okay. Let me slow down the camera. And if I go to... Okay, properties now. I could do... it's alright, I can drop in and use it. So you can see how terrain looks like. how big it is. I think it's fairly big. Now you can see that the noise we've added to the flatten, so it adds some gentle slopes. Yay, alright. So I think I'm pretty happy with it. Anyway, I think, guys, I'm gonna finish the mountains, and then I'm gonna save the changes. Finish off the mountain the same way I did the first terrain. Well, I might do this actually now. Just don't wanna make it too boring. Maybe I could make those hills more interesting, sculpted a little bit more, and see how it goes. In the next episode we're going to create water volumes. Let me know what you think about the video, if you experience in Cryengine or have your channel, or then let me know your thoughts about this. Obviously share your experience, that would be great. And thank you for watching. See you next time.